14,000 or 14.5, I'm sorry, I'm not sure, for 2-bedroom units, and also 50% reduction for the first 20 years of taxation. You add all those together, plus have provincial help as well, and even some of the partnerships, whether it's Habitat for Humanity or whoever we end up working with, the proposal call would help bring the best outcome for those properties.
Thank you, Dave, and I'd ask Sherry to come up and give her a 2-part answer here, please.
Thanks. Actually, I'm going to do it the other way around and do the easy question first. That what would I do? 2 ideas for affordable housing, and actually I got 3. And I love what I hear from the mayor about donating land, those kinds of things. But let's build on it. Okay. Lots of cities use inclusionary zoning. Sort of a carrot and a stick approach, because it's not just the city that's responsible. Private developers are also responsible for quality of life in our city and making sure that we've got access for affordable housing. How do we get them to the table? Well, a lot of cities require them to have a certain proportion of their development, new development, to be affordable. Now, it doesn't have to be in Veterans Way or behind Crocus Plains or out in the far west end, as long as part of that development is for affordable housing. So in fact, you could do it as infill in the inner city. So again, J&G, out of the 140 houses that they're building by the cemetery, if you said 10% had to be affordable, they would have to have 14 of them somewhere in the city. That's a great idea. That second thing we would do is look at fees and waiving some of those fees. I mean, when you've got someone who says, yeah, I'm going to build an affordable house at 14th and Lord, and on an empty lot, and then you charge them for the demolition to go to the dump, I mean, that's just silly. They're contributing, improving, and taking a risk on the city. And so again, let's look at some of those fees and permits and waive those. 3, we need to know how much affordable housing we need. We need data in this city about how big a problem it is. Is that card for both questions?
No, that's...
Okay. So that, I'm sorry for talking so very fast. It's a very big issue in the city. What would I do about a prayer breakfast? Prayer and religion is such a personal thing. And for me, I am a very... Is that it? You know, you'll never know.
Thank you, Sherry. Mr. Lebanon, your vision on housing and breakfast.
Housing and breakfast. Me and my wife are both practicing Greek Orthodox Christians. I'd be happy to attend a prayer breakfast with you. If it made your day, it would definitely make mine. Yeah, that'd be pleasant. The housing and the affordable housing. You know, the affordable housing is one of those words that I'm personally tired to listen to, because there is a ways to build affordable housing. I live in probably what is known as the most, or should be known as the most affordable house in the city. My house is extremely small, but it's extremely lovely inside, and it's very clean, and we both very love it, and we both love it, and we enjoy it. We very much enjoy it. So affordable housing, if you were to ask me, it comes down to architecture and design and demand and desire. You know, the architecture that you build in is definitely going to denote the cost of the building, and the design of the building as well is going to denote the cost. The size of the building is definitely going to denote the cost. And then the desire to create lovely buildings and buildings that are affordable for people, that's also what's going to make it happen. So these are the elements. I believe that in the city of Brandon here, we have lots of land that's available to be constructed on, to create affordable housing, and affordable housing that's truly affordable, privately developed, privately purchasable. I mean, I would think an affordable house nowadays would be a house that is $120,000 to $130,000 to $150,000. That is an affordable house today. In this market, in this climate of economic, $100,000 is unfortunately not too much to ask for a home, a new home. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Evelyn. I believe we've come to the summary portion of our day's event here. And I'd like to say I thought all of you gave thoughtful answers and probably put a high buff on all of your public personas. So everyone did well, and I'm pleased to see that. And I'm going to ask you one at a time to come up and give us your summary. Why is it you? And I believe it's 2 minutes we're going to give to each person. And I'll call Mr. Avalon first, please.
It's nice to be here. It's nice to talk to you. I had written a wonderful speech, and I delivered it to the Brandon Sun, and the Brandon Sun won't print it because I'm a mayoral candidate. So it's too bad, because it really properly answers this question. And I wrote it down and quite thought about it. I've come to run for mayor, like I said, just simply to offer you all the services and all that I am as a local citizen. I was born here, I'm raised here, I love my town, I know my town very well, I know the people that live in it, and from the wealthy to the poor, you know, and from the young and to the old. And I just think I would be a very good candidate to be your mayor. I would make it my very best effort to create a clean, healthy, and appropriate living environment. And I would make it my very best effort to bring proper jobs that are fitting and suitable and clean and healthy jobs to the young people and to the future of our citizens. And I think that as far as representation for the city and for the people, I would certainly do my very, very best to provide appropriate, respectable, and integral representation, not just to Brandon and to the Brandonites, but also for Brandon, for the Brandonites, to our rural municipalities, our neighbors, to our Winnipeg, our province, and we have Ottawa. We have our lovely capital city, Ottawa, Canada, and you need a mayor as well that's prepared to take representation for Brandon to Ottawa. And I just think I would make my very best effort, and I believe I'd be a very good candidate for this. And I would definitely have to say that it's important, it would be important for a candidate like myself to take lead, definitely lead from Mr. Burgess. Mr. Burgess has set a standard for us. He's a very good mayor, he's a very nice man. He's just been in office for 2 terms now. A 3rd term is a bit of a stretch. It's nice to see change, and I think I can provide that change, while at the same time providing a stable environment, a stable political environment.
Thank you, Mr. Avalon. And I'll call upon Henry to tell us his spin and why he would be our good mayor.
My name is Henry Hansen, and really I stand here today because I think low income and affordable housing is very important in Brandon. It is an issue that affects my family, my friends, as well as the community at large. I was born and raised in Brandon, and it is important to me to see this community prosper. And I think this is an issue that needs to be resolved, and that's why I'm here today. Thanks.
Thank you for your summary, Henry. And I would call upon Sherry, please, to give us her summary.
Great, thanks very much, and thanks very much for everyone who offered questions and participated today. I think it's time for a change. I think it's time for a change in the processes that we use to govern our city. Fleming School, Sportsplex, we talked about that earlier. I think it's time to change the way we deal with planning in this city. Again, fire hall, classic example. We need to get data, and you'll hear me say that over and over and over again in the election. We need to know what the problems are before we can go about creating solutions for them. We need a change in the vision for our city. The Brandon that I see 5 years from now has got more people, more young people in it. It's going to have seniors in it. It's going to have 55-year-old boomers and zoomers in it. They're going to be having, we're going to get a handle on the affordable housing issue. In fact, the housing issue, period. that the city that I want to live in 5 years from now has a vital downtown. It has a prosperous economy with knowledge-based jobs. That, again, my vision for the city of Brandon is prosperity, progress, and growth. The other thing we need to change in this city is leadership. Because we need a leadership that involves the community. We need leadership that deals with some of the issues around the rest of Manitoba. Why are we fighting with the rural municipalities? We need leadership for making some of the tough questions. We need leadership at City Hall so that we're not losing most of our senior staff. We need leadership on this community to unite us behind a common vision. Because again, as I said at the very beginning, if we're not in this together and doing it together, it ain't going to happen. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sherry, and I'll call upon Dave for your summary, please, Dave.
Very much, Wayne. First off, I want to thank you for putting this on. It's been very well done. I'm very excited about what we've achieved as a community over the past 8 years, and I'm thrilled looking into the future of what we can be achieved. We've got so many building blocks put in place, all the different aspects that would attract more industry here, more people, and I think it's just endless what we can do to improve our city. I want a strong focus on expanding our industrial development and, of course, business expansion. Also, downtown, building downtown further. I think it's just endless what we can do there, building on what we've already done. The youth, there's a real focus towards the youth, and I think that's well-deserving, but also seniors when you take a look at the affordable housing for that aspect. So I know there's a lot of effort that's going forward in a very positive fashion that I'm excited about. Quality of life is something that has to always be a major focus. We've increased our quality of life tremendously, but I want to see that continue in a very, very major focus for our future. I think we've done well. I really have enjoyed what it's done for me personally to actually serve in this role, and probably have got as much out of it as I've put into it. I think it's just been a great experience, and I really love the city of Brandon, but also the people of Brandon. Thanks very much for having me today.
You've been an attentive and a good audience, and I must say that I enjoyed all the presentations by our candidates. The decision now rests with you, and I'll call Linda to close the shutters and the doors.
Well, thanks, Wayne. And thank you, everyone, for coming, and thank you for our candidates, especially, obviously, and I echo what Wayne said, and people conducted themselves with a great deal of decorum and gave a great deal of information about what they stand for, I believe. And I'd like to thank a few other people. Brenda, our timekeeper. May, our elder. I'd also like to thank my colleagues back in the back room here who actually put on the coffee for us before we got here today. Thank you very much. And thanks to representatives from the media who've come out today. We really appreciate that, and hope that you know, it makes people aware that these opportunities do exist in Brandon. This is not the only forum by a long shot. I think Dave was telling me earlier there are another 8 coming up or something like that. It's I can't imagine how many? 8 altogether. Okay, just somebody had a heart attack there. These forums provide an opportunity for people to come out and hear what the people are standing for that you can vote for, and I certainly encourage it. I think if there was one question that I should have asked in actual fact, and maybe if you're out at another forum, people can ask this. We heard a lot this afternoon about affordable housing. I learned at an interagency meeting a few years ago that term affordable housing is very misleading, and what people probably often should be asking is about social housing or low-income housing. Those are the issues that affect my students very often, okay? Again, thank you all very much for your answers and for your time, and thank you to everyone for coming out, and if I've forgotten to thank anybody, I apologize, and thanks again, Wayne, for doing a great job as our moderator this afternoon. Mr. Wayne Langlard.